Buenos dias, Matt, and thank you for joining us today at Business Spotlight Series.
Hey, nice to be here. Good to chat.
Today I'm very excited to bring along Matt Lynn, is the MD, Managing Director of MGH Offshore, an international recruitment company specializing in connecting top talent with leading companies around the world. So, Matt, can you tell us a little bit more what you do and for how long you've been doing it?
Yeah, so I started MGH Offshore back in 2017. It was my original limited company. We sort of started supplying staff and then we moved on to doing full turnkey solutions. So literally you can give us the keys now and we can run the full scope for you, or we can give you the best manning solution to do that, whatever your project is.
Brilliant. Now, how do you get into this? How do you get into this business?
I started off, I served my time as an electrician back in the day, come out of school and straight into being an electrician. And then I started in oil and gas, very young age. Had to grow up very, very quickly because I think there was about 10 years between me and a couple of the older lads that were there. So I had to grow up real fast. And then one day back in 2009, I get a call from a friend of mine saying, do you want to do something completely new? Offshore wind. My reaction was, what's that? And then, yeah, everyone pretty much knows about offshore wind, what it is these days. But back then, no one did. And that's what we've done since. And just moving, working for several of the large developers.
Yes.
And yeah, so far, the company's going from strength to strength, which is great news.
Brilliant. Who is the first person that comes to mind when you think about success?
Sorry, I lost you there.
Yeah, who is the first person that comes to mind when you think of success? Somebody you look up to.
Quite like Richard Branson. Purely for the fact is he left school, didn't do really good at school, but look at him now. It's a little bit of, if I asked my teachers if they thought I'd ever be doing this,
yes,
I'd laugh and say not a chance. But
yes.
hopefully, yeah, that's definitely Richard Branson, I would say.
Brilliant. Now, tell me, Matthew, what business changes do you have to do when because of COVID, when COVID hit?
Yeah, COVID. So believe it or not, during COVID, we were just starting back up again properly. And we lost all the contracts, everything we had. For 2 weeks, we were starting to wonder what is going to happen. And everything started to come back slowly. And to be honest, from COVID, we've never looked back. COVID was probably just as the company was starting to really come to terms with what it was actually doing and where we were heading. And to be honest, MGH in the form it is now has only been officially around just over 2 years. Like I mentioned before, it was a personal limited company. Never did I ever think it would turn into be what it is today. Wow. I never set out to do this, so it's been great. Yeah. I couldn't wait for it to go any better.
Excellent. So what are the plans for the next five? What aspirations do you have for the business for the next 5 years?
I'd like to see it grow. I would like to take a lot of apprentices on just to sort of give back and try and get the quality back up in the industry. Because I feel over the last couple of years it has went down a little bit, but that's because there's not new people coming through. No one wants to be electrician or plumbers these days, but I think it's a shame at the moment. But we are already heading out to the US, just about to open operations out in the United States, and we'll be opening our first office up in Glasgow area within the next couple of months.
In Glasgow?
Yeah.
Very good. Many businesses I talk to across all industries are finding recruitment difficult. Okay, lack of talent, or they join and they leave quickly, or they get poached by other businesses, or retaining talent. What's your experience?
So because of the way the company sort of come around, we haven't come across that problem yet. No issue with that, because what we're finding is it's people that I've worked with in the past, and they've sort of, when I tell them what the dream is, they believe it. So they say, right, we're coming with you. And the difference is we're not a typical recruitment company where we've got this big pool of people and we'll go and pick out of that pool and hopefully we'll hit lucky. Whereas we have got the background knowledge to say, oh, you want to, let's say, HV cable jointer. People would still go to electrician and try and pick electricians out, but it's completely different just because it's in the electrical bracket. that can be broken down to 10, 20 different entities in itself, that's because we've lived it. It makes us quite strong in that area.
Brilliant. I love it. When I tell them what the dream is, they go for it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the vision, isn't it? When you tell
them, I believe it works across the board. Obviously, I would like the guys to be paid well. I want the clients to save a little bit money. So in the end, it's MGH that actually loses that little bit out. But the way I see that is because of what we're offering, we'll have longer success with the companies that we work with. We don't want to come in. We don't want to make a quick buck and see you later. We want to be the company that they're ringing 5, 10 years and say, Matt, we've still got this to do. Please, can you just come and do it? You know, we want to be on speed dial for them companies rather than coming in, taking the money quickly and leaving.
Yes.
And it's all about the quality. If the quality's not there, if it's not done right, it's not worth doing.
Yes, correct. So tell us a little bit about, your vision for the business.
So, yeah, like I say, continue growth, keep the apprentices coming on and just grow the sort of width of what we can do as well. But like I mentioned, the quality is key. If we can't do it right, we don't do it at all.
Yeah. Brilliant. What's been some of the biggest issues you've had to overcome in your journey?
That's quite something. How quickly we grew. Cash flow has been a major issue for us. Yeah, everything's still privately funded, pretty much from a property company that I started a lot earlier on. But now, because of how quickly MGH has grown, that we can't fund it from the property company anymore. So that's an ongoing discussion within how we move forward. As I mentioned earlier, we are structuring the company, and that's ongoing discussions. What comes in the future from that sort of side of it.
Okay, interesting. Now, can you share with us some of the biggest learnings you've had since becoming a business owner?
I have. Sometimes, how do I say this without? Yeah, sometimes I think I wasn't cut out to be. I was maybe too friendly sometimes to be in this sort of business. I've learned the hard way where people have said some things and haven't done it the way they've said they were going to do it. So I'm still quite old school where if I say I'm going to if I shake your hand, I'm going to do it, I will still do that. But I found out there's a lot of people in the industry that will say that, but they won't do it.
Yeah.
So
well,
that's the biggest one.
That's a great attribute to have,
Yeah. I think so. And that was the way I was brought up. And if we ever come across a job where we can't do it, and I've said we can do it, I'll sit down with the client and say, look, this is why we can't do it. But instead of parting our separate ways, let's try and come up with a solution of how we can do it together.
That's brilliant, Matthew. That's my definition of integrity. Integrity, to do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. So no wonder your business is growing and flourishing. That's a very attractive value.
Thank you.
In the business. Okay, so have you got a book you've read and that has kind of had an impact in your life?
Yeah, so I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I was actually working in Norway when somebody told us about it. So as soon as I got home, it wasn't like where you could just order everything off Amazon or anything like that. I had to actually go out and look for it. Read that, and yeah, some of the stuff in there I still think about today.
Yes.
Definitely worth reading for anyone who hasn't read it.
Yeah, so for those watching this, I've got it on my shelf here. It's Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I also read it, and like Matthew has become a business owner and an investor in property. So it's got that's a great book. Thanks for the recommendation. And if you started your business again, what would you do differently?
Do you know, I'd probably start, if I could, I know I'm sure everyone says this, but I would like to have started a little bit earlier. I've thought about doing this for years and years, and anyone who knows us will know I have, because I always mentioned it. I wish I'd have started at least 5 years earlier. Yeah. But hey, it might not have worked back then, but I feel now is definitely the right time. But I would like to have given it a little bit of a go earlier on.
Yeah. Well, this phrase, when is the best time to plant a tree?
Yeah, that's it.
So 20 years ago, when is the next best time? today, right?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I still can't believe how well we're going. Got a fantastic team around us, and I believe that's part of the success, you know, without a shadow of a doubt.
How have you built such a fantastic team?
I don't know. I just think it's remembering that they're as important as I am. It might be my name at the top of the company, but without them doing what they do on site, then the company's nothing. It'll just be me sat in the office.
Mm.
So I think it's just having the right team. Like I say, it's been picked over a long period of time. It's everyone that I've sort of met over the last 17 years where you think, right, they will remember that. And yeah, it's just grew. And then you obviously meet friends out of it, and they're coming in because they've got loyalty as a friendship. They'll put that extra 10% in, 20%, and they want the company to grow as well.
Brilliant. Fantastic. So, Matthew, what would you say to, so do you have any advice for your 18-year-old self?
I would just say stick in. And if you've got a dream, go for it. You never know. What's the worst that can happen? I'm a firm believer in if anything, when something does finally happen to us, I want to go away with, at least I've tried, and not what if. I don't want any what ifs in my life. So that's probably what I would say.
Stick in.
Yeah, stick in. If you've got a dream, hey, go for it. It might not work, but you'll never know.
I love it. I love it, Matthew. So, well, it's been a real pleasure having you join us today at Spotlight. This is Spotlight Series, and thank you for sharing your experience and wisdom with us today.
Oh, thank you very much for having us. Honestly, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew.